All right, guys, welcome back. We have the do now up on the board. Please check it out on Echo. Question today posed is, what would you do if you were the teacher and the kids in your class would not listen? How would you react? What techniques would you use to fix the problem? Explain. Notice too, I put good thing we don't have to deal with that in this class. Click the link where it says what would you do Wednesday and add your information in there. We will discuss it in about a minute and a half. All right, what would you do Wednesday? Let's randomize the first name. Arnie, what you got for us, bud?
Yeah. If the kids didn't listen to me, I would tell them to be quiet. And if they don't listen, I would call a principal to discipline them. And if they still don't listen, I would give them a 5-paragraph essay.
Okay. So you'd have them write for punishment. Would you like to write for punishment?
Kind of.
Kind of? Okay. Next randomized name. Josiah.
Josiah,
What you got, bud? If you're the teacher.
I would give them a ketchup cafe and make them sit in silence, and if they didn't do that, I would call them out.
Okay, so you would demand excellence out of them. Very good answer. Let's do 2 more randomized.
Go smile.
What'd that say? Not here. Next. Jocelyn. Right up here in your grill.
If I was the teacher and the kids would not listen to me in the class, I would tell them to put their heads on the desk, wait 5 minutes, and then make them write 200 sentences that say, "I'm sorry, I will listen to the teacher."
You should have seen Oscar's face when you just said that. He freaked out. Oscar says, "I will behave myself if Jocelyn was the teacher." All right, let's do one more.
I told Block 1 that they taught us in a writing thing. You shouldn't ever discipline with writing because then it makes writing seem bad. But not a bad idea.
Okay, one more. I hope it's Oscar. Armando. Armando, if you were the teacher of this class and you came in and everybody was talking and couldn't get silent, what would you do?
If I was a teacher and the students didn't listen to me, I would just walk out of school and just go to McDonald's.
Okay, so you would quit your job?
Yeah.
All right, say that's it, I've had it with these kids. That's enough. All right, let's check out the agenda. Objectively, what 2 things are we focusing on in today's class? Luani, can you give me one?
Oral communication.
Okay, and what are we doing with our oral communication today?
We're doing a Socratic question discussion.
Very good. What does it have to do with?
It has to do with us, like not basically fighting, but talking about why we think our civilizations are the best.
Very good. Anything else, Cass, to add to that? Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Good. There's one other thing that we're not necessarily working on during class today, but has been kind of a point of emphasis. What was the last type of writing we just completed? Caleb? Argumentative essay. Okay, so that's going to be the focus of today's class. We are going to have a Socratic discussion over our ancient civilization using the notes that we've researched over the last day and a half. So what we're going to do is give you about 3 or 4 minutes to get those notes out, and then we will start our discussion.
Are you good on the homework?
You got 5 seconds remaining. All right, let's stop what we're doing. Let's pull up the agenda here quickly. Check out what we have going on the rest of the day. So Socratic discussion is the topic of our next kind of activity we're going to do. We're going to get through that using our evidence, helping us with our argumentative essays. A good job with the Achieve 3000 over the last week. We're averaging 84%. So good they bottled it is our activity for the week. And then we'll get started on a novel study here shortly with Brian's Winter. So we'll have an introduction if we get to that today. If not, we will start that tomorrow. Okay, so Socratic discussion. Any comments, questions about what we need to get accomplished here? Okay, remember to speak respectfully. Remember to cite your evidence. Who's going to go first? Hop on up.
I believe Greeks are the best civilization because they basically taught the Romans everything, and they created most things we still use today. And I found this information on www.top10s.com.
I respectfully agree with Chloe because the Greeks were some of the first to test medicine on animals and humans. I found this at www.historyforkids.org.
I respectfully agree with Evan because they made great inventions like the alarm clock and the odometer, and they had also a good trading system, and I found that at etc.ancient.eu.
I respectfully disagree with Chloe because I think the best civilization was the Aztecs because they created dentistry, doctoring, chinampas, and aqueducts, and I found this at Mr. Cooper's mandatory workshop.
I respectfully think that the Greeks are the best ancient civilization because the Greeks impacted us today by the arts, philosophy, and in science, math, literature, and politics. I found this from primaryhomeworkhelp.co.
I respectfully agree with Leah, and I have something to add that they were also very great at war, and they were very well trained, unlike Greeks where they were too busy trying to figure out things more than fighting to keep their civilization alive.
I respectfully disagree with Caleb because if they were so good at war, why were they conquered by Cortez and his men?
I respectfully agree with Evan because the Greeks did create medicine. They also found advances in art and poetry.
I respectfully disagree with what Caleb said because what I found during the workshop with Mrs. Atkinson is that even though the Greeks have made many things such as the watermill and the theater, they also defeated Troy City by analyzing things.
I respectfully think that the Incan civilization was best because they invented many things such as the flute, a drum, and what they call a panpipe.
I respectfully disagree with Britain because the Aztecs thought that Hernan Cortez was Quetzalcoatl in the flesh, so they were a little distracted by that. I respectfully think that the Mayans were the greatest civilization because they invented many things like the calendar, the dirt roads and trade routes, and they invented reservoirs that they used for fresh water in time of drought. And I found this at mayas.mrdon.org.
I respectfully agree with Quentin, and also I found out before the Romans came that the Mayans created the most accurate calendar there is in the ancient world. What do you think, Lily?
I respectfully think the Olmecs are the best because they're the first Mesoamerican culture. They are mostly known for they are the forerunner of all the other civilizations, and I found this on www.ancient.eu.
I respectfully disagree with Layla because the Olmec abandoned their cities until there was nothing left, and I got this from Miss Atkinson's lesson.
I respectfully agree with Ira that the Incans are the best civilization because their religion is pretty much making sculptures, and their what they sacrifice is actually children, and I think that's pretty odd but cool.
I respectfully disagree with the Aztecs because they killed people for sacrificing for their gods, and the Greeks didn't wear red like lipstick and other clothing that was red to represent for their gods.
I respectfully disagree with that because the only reason they thought it would be better because humans they thought were more valuable at that time, so they tried to make their gods more pleased by giving humans than animals.
I respectfully agree with Quentin because the Mayan was one of the earliest civilizations to use the number 0.
I respectfully disagree with the Romans because the Romans, they basically copied all of the gods from the Greeks. They just changed their names except for Apollo, and they kept that name. And I found out all this information at Mrs. Atkinson's mandatory workshop. What do you think, Bryce?
I respectfully agree with Caleb because it says that the Aztec warriors were able to dominate other states, and I got this from ancientcivilizationhistory.com.
I respectfully agree with Chloe because the Greeks invented one of the greatest things known, which is the Olympics, which is known worldwide. I found this information at www.northern.edu.
I respectfully disagree with Magali because the Greeks were known to invent many stuff like the Greeks, including the aqueducts. And I found this at top10ancientromaninventions.org.
I respectfully agree with Bryce because the Aztecs were so good at fighting, they came to rule over 500 small states, and I found this at lizturfs.com.
I respectfully disagree with Chloe because the Romans did copy off the Greeks with some things, but they also took it and made it extraordinary.
I respectfully agree with Chloe because the Greeks did make a lot of inventions such as the water mill or the alarm clock because some people need alarm clocks. What do you think, Joanna?
I respectfully agree with the Mayan civilization because they were one of the first people to make an actual calendar.
I respectfully disagree with Caleb because the Aztecs were cruel people and they killed other people for their gods, but they also sold their children into slavery, and I found that from list25.com.
I respectfully agree with the Greeks because they have made our world more interesting and creative by creating the theater, and they have the most influential masterpieces, and I found that on ancientgreece.org.
I respectfully disagree with Magali because the Greeks, they built Colosseums just to see people fight and die, where the Aztecs and many of the other Mesoamerica civilizations, they did it for religion instead of just doing it for amusement.
I respectfully disagree because some Greeks didn't do that. They were more into learning than into fighting.
All right, now that we've had a chance to have our Socratic discussion today, let's take a second or two to reflect on this process. What are some things that we liked about it? What are some things that we would do differently if we were to do it again? Do we have any feedback on that at all?
I would like to get better at counting negative points.
Okay. Maddie?
This Socratic discussion helps me learn many things while having fun and seeing other people's point of view.
Okay, excellent. Caleb?
Something I wish we could have done better was get more people involved with the discussion.
Okay. How do we do that, do you think?
Like when you're standing up, when you're finishing with your sentences, like just call out someone that hasn't stood up
Okay.
yet.
Maybe we can tell if somebody's trying to get words in but just can't quite get in there. Maybe call them. Leah, what do you think?
I like that I got to learn about other civilizations and have fun at the same time.
Excellent. Sandra?
I liked the descriptive discussions because we get to share what we think.
Excellent. Evan?
I like how everyone's quiet and is acting kind when someone is speaking.
Very good. Being respectful and responsible during this time is important. What do you think, Oscar?
I like that I got to learn more about the Roman, and next time I wish I can actually search up more things.
Okay, excellent. Bless you, Andreas. Peyton?
I like this discussion because it helped me understand and create my argument
argumentative essay by hearing different viewpoints.
Excellent. Grace?
I like that we get to share our opinions without people judging us. We can also get to know people's personalities and what they think.
Good.
I
Q?
like that people made really good points off of what others said.
Excellent. Luani?
I didn't stand up, but something that we have to work on would be like not being afraid and saying what your thoughts are. Because after like somebody stood up and then they sat down, it was just an awkward moment when nobody was talking.
Okay. Good feedback. Cass?
I like how we got to teach ourselves a little bit of new information without our facilitators having to teach
Absolutely. You guys ran the show here. Armando?
What do I like about the discussion is that all the conversation about all the different civilizations.
Very good. Ethan?
I like that I get to hear other people's thoughts.
Good. It's really dirty on those whiteboards behind you. And Jaden?
I like to hear like about other ancient civilizations and stand up and speak to other people about my civilization.
Excellent. People are going to be wondering why you're dressed up like a lion. Trey?
I like this Socratic discussion because it's fun and it helps you learn at the same time.
All right. Thank you very much.